Welcome to episode 174. I have never seen the movie Splash, but my buddies from back in the day like to quote that line, "What a week I'm having!" I think I may have mentioned this before. In that case, it was kind of disastrous for the Eugene Levy character, but in my case, I just have been amazed. This is a bit of an experiment here. I'm still working on getting a good setup for even getting these intro video sections, but I tell you, I feel so blessed. Uh, I'm basically what I have here is a vlog of the week, and so it's going to be kind of long. So this time, I'm remembering to say up front, uh, the smartest thing to do is put it on at least 1.5 times speed, and if you want to watch the whole thing. Because I do not expect you to just sit at normal speed, listen to me talk. Yes, I will sound a little bit more silly at 1.5 than I do at normal speed, and that's a price I'm willing to pay for you to see the wild stuff that has happened this week. Now, I haven't done a great job of getting before and after pictures. Once again, I haven't done a great job necessarily of demonstrating some of the actual work, but I don't have any glamour shots of some of the stuff that I've made. And I was going to be really apologetic about that until it occurred to me, maybe your stuff is not quite ready for glamour shots. Maybe very, good lighting and up close shots might reveal a little bit of the need to keep improving. One case in point I can show you is I am really looking forward to getting this out to one of my favorite YouTube channels, the Crockers. And I made this sign. I thought I messed up the stain, and so I sanded some of it and did it again. And I'm not sure I'm ever going to get it exactly the way that I think it should look, but I am real excited about sending this off to Jason and Danielle. And wrote them a little note on the back with the engraver, and I hope they'll get a kick out of it because they have their own unique way of doing things, and I kind of think that this sign suits them pretty well. I hope they'll feel the same. All right, that's not glamour shots, and that's all right because uh, see what you think. And seriously, I would absolutely love to have some comments on this video, uh, just to say, what was that now? Because there are probably going to be some steps I missed. There are probably going to be some gaps in the storytelling. I did my best, and I've still got a lot to learn, especially even just about making videos. But man, some cool stuff has happened. No big money maker yet, but at this point, it doesn't matter. And yeah, I'm just having a blast. So please take a look. Hold out and watch as much of it as you can stand to do. Please like if you think it deserves that, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And then also, please take some time to leave a comment. It's just so I know, okay, here, this worked, that didn't work. Oh, you should have shown this. I wanted to see that. What are you talking about when you say this? Why is the garage still a total mess, and you say you don't even have a job anymore and it's still not cleaned up, that kind of stuff. Please drop me a line, and I'll look forward to trying to respond promptly and agreeably and thankfully, genuinely thankfully. I don't know what this next week is going to be. I'm probably going to do it this way for a little while because I don't really, so much is happening. I don't really have time to set up the camera for every little thing, stop, try to get the right angle and all that kind of stuff. So I'm probably going to be talking my way through some of it for a while. Unless if there's a comment you want to share, okay, we'd like to see you do this when you're doing this part of the operation, or this part of a build or whatever. Be sure you show this, because otherwise it's just you saying, hey, I'm going to do this, and then afterwards saying, hey, look what I did, which is not great video at all, is it? Well, anyway, please let me know what you think. And wow, what a week is coming up, and yeah, I don't have a clue what it's going to bring, except that I have a couple of appointments and a couple of projects I need to get done. But there's a ton of stuff that's also hanging out that could get done, and I'm excited to see what all can happen in this week. Starting to creep up on some holiday season deadlines, and need to take that into account as well. Anyway, thanks so much for taking time to include me in your hopefully entertainment, and I hope you have a blessed week. Whenever you watch this, I hope you're having a blessed day, and you know it, and that you've already counted your blessings. And if you haven't yet, please, I encourage you to take a couple minutes to do that, because I think it makes a real positive difference. And I know I have a lot to be thankful for, and I don't have a job. Anyway, welcome to the week of Labor Day. I hope those of you are having a holiday today are having a great time. This upload for this week is going to be a little bit different, I think. I just thought of this. I'm going to do a week in the life, as I am trying to figure out what my life is actually even like right now. I've got a lot to do this week, and I'm starting off with a stop by Circle K to get a Polar Pop. I got to keep the Pepsi flowing here, at least for now. Next stop is to a house that is being flipped by a guy I know, a friend that I've worked with before, who has some like 115-year-old minimum timbers that he's taken out of a house that he's turning, and he's going to let me take it. So I am also heading down to Bedford today to mow on the property, and to visit at Mom's, and maybe do a couple things around her place, and maybe get a couple tools that I'm going to bring back north with me. But I need to look at the wood before I go down there, so I kind of have an idea on my way back. I want to pick it up, so I want to try to be thinking about how I want to get it on the back rack and the roof rack if necessary, to get it back up to Carol's house and the workshop. And so that's what I know of today. I also need to maybe do a couple of errands, like check and make sure I've got the right setup with my cell phone stuff and all of that, and maybe a couple of other things about trying to put a little bit of money in savings in case my plans go south and I have a little bit of an emergency fund in place. All right. Already rambling. It's Monday morning, about 7:30, and here we go. Thanks very much for watching, and please let me know what you think of this. Hopefully it won't be like a 2-hour long video by the end of the week, but hopefully there'll also be a lot of things that get done. Thanks again. Yeah, this is pretty much unbelievable. Look at this. They do not allow this stuff to grow this long like this anymore. That is massive dimensional cut, 2 by 6, and it looks like a true 2 maybe. Good grief, look at this. Okay, a little bit later on Monday morning now, the work week diary continues. Over my shoulder there, you might be able to see a topped out tree remains, and this is some stuff that was harvested, some walnut trees that were harvested, and I asked them to leave the tops, and there's a lot of small branches there that I hope someday become tenon and parts of tenon connected furniture. Looking forward to getting in there, but I am going to wait until the bugs are down, and so this might be a winter project. But my goodness, I was filling up with gas last night in anticipation of coming down here, and the wind was just blowing, and you could just smell it a little bit. Yep, fall's coming in, and it is a gorgeous day. I am very, very blessed and grateful to be cutting this lawn for the first time this year in very mild, sunny but mild and calm weather. It's going to be much easier than it usually is, although it has really grown quite a bit. I didn't expect, especially out towards the street. The weeds evidently love the heat, as they often do. So it has grown up a ton there. I may actually have to weed eat that before I mow it. We'll see. I'm not sure if the factory estimate battery life on these ScreenWorks are accurate, or at least in my case, and probably also less, but I've had this thing for a couple years now. But it's actually cutting into this heavy stuff. It'll bog down if I'm going too fast, but I may be able to cut this and then come back over it a couple times. And anyway, the rest is fairly manageable, and it's gonna shape up all right. Getting close to when I can get into winter and for the first time finally trim these trees back and maybe see if we can't get them to freshen up. There's an apple tree in there along with whatever this berry is, and there's just the trunk, one of the trunks is actually, I think, split and it's on the ground, but it's still leafing out, so evidently it's still rooted. But anyway, if I get a bunch of this ground cover cleared and some of the dead stuff out, then it won't be quite as unsightly, and that'd be a positive thing, even if it's just me still keeping it for a while. If I came back and looked at this in an hour, I probably would think, great day, it's so ragged. It's not even at all, but I don't have anything to compare it to, but what it was here before, and it was like thigh level high, almost waist level high up here at the road. So anyway, this is good. And I got a little bit on the other side of the alley and decided not to go too far. I want to save some of this battery if I can, but I cleaned up a little bit along this edge. I think I'm going to grab some more of these limestone pieces today. I've been slowly trying to take a few to maybe make something with, even if it's just a rustic fire pit or something. And then my unofficial walnut farm has definitely taken off again this year. I'm going to thin this out quite a bit when I think, Lord willing, when the new chainsaw comes in. Some of them I think I'm going to let grow. And I'm going to see if there's some other trees. Boy, I love that sycamore out there. I think that's on my land, and man, I love sycamores. I'm not really getting much chance to really enjoy it though. Okay, time to head back into town. We're gonna get some goldfinch bird seed. Mom thinks maybe it would be nice to have some finches stay around the place because they stay over in Indiana during the winter. So let's see what we can do with that. With the mowing done, I made a stop at Rural King and got not just bird seed, not just wild bird seed. I got gourmet blend wild bird seed, whatever that means. Actually, it looks like goldfinches and other things that Mom likes to see might be attracted to this. So, got the big bag, and what I'm doing here is I'm putting it in small bags, 2 cups, so that it won't be heavy for somebody to fill. I'm going to try to fill it with what's left in here after filling up some bags. So, yeah, let's feed the birds. And I don't think it's more than 2 pence a bag, but it's not that bad. Yeah, once I finally figured out that it was actually a bird feeder and not a birdhouse, it made a lot more sense. So let's see about filling this thing up. Yes, and as the sign says, family, friends, and neighbors welcome. Come on over. What a beautiful day. I'm gonna head in. It's a little after 6. Still got a couple things to do yet tonight. Mostly just gonna get something to eat, start to wind down, and get ready for an early night to bed so that I can get started early again in the morning. But it has been quite a day. I got to share some great fellowship time with Mom. Had a little steak and shake. She hadn't been there in a while. She thought that'd be fun, and so I'm glad I got to do that. Got to talk to my daughter, youngest daughter, and her husband. I hadn't talked to them in quite a while, and that was really great. And Then got a few chores done around Mom's place and headed back. And wow, here is the wood, and it is absolutely amazing. It's so heavy. It I mean, why would somebody build rafters with oak? But then again, it was 1910, I guess, when this addition was put on this house. So maybe it is. I think it's going to clean up great. It would be good if I were to take it all off the truck tonight, but I'm tired. So I'm just going to say that I am blessed and grateful for getting it. Got to spend some time also with the friend that is flipping this house and talk to him, and got to share a little bit about my non-job but still working hard situation, and really feel like been getting a lot of encouragement that okay, maybe this thing can work, and we're gonna try again tomorrow and see what we have in store. First thing though is I got to get this wood off the truck, and then maybe I'm going to spend a bunch of time trying to get a bunch of nails out, and that will be thrilling video for everyone, I'm sure. Please tune in, although actually this is a week-long vlog, so it'll be coming up next if that's the next thing I do. Thanks for watching. It's Tuesday morning. Welcome, and getting ready to turn on the computer and the laser cutter. It's still dark out. It's a little chilly out. Fantastic. I need to get outside and do some work in a bit, but I need to let the neighbors sleep also. So let's do some stuff with the cutter for now. Hey, I forgot to mention another thing I did yesterday was get a replacement for a Bauer Harbor Freight sander that I don't know what was up with the elliptical. It was really going nuts, which makes me remember that I've got some elliptical bands for the DeWalt sander that I have, that I thought I was buying, quality, class, and style, and it didn't work very long. But took the sander head off and found that the elliptical rubber band was completely gone. So I don't know what I did. But anyway, going to try to put that back together and see if I've got a sander that's really working, and maybe two now. And also going to cut some things today, kind of promotional, like a couple of YouTube people I follow. I'm making something, I want to send them, and maybe they'll think that it's pretty good work, and see what happens from there. And got a couple of new subscribers, and I want to say welcome to everybody that's been watching, and everybody that's subscribed. Thank you. And hopefully I'll have some improved work to show as we go along here. Tuesday morning, blessed and grateful. Thanks for watching. This is actually the laundry sorting and folding area that I have taken over a bit here for the past month, and it's going to have to get cleaned up. What I need to do is clear this out so that this table can become the workspace, and because I've got another table back here that I can clear and probably do some things with it too. Yeah, a lot of organizing needs to get done. Wish I had a fire pit, because I'm getting a lot of nice firewood together. Maybe someday. After 2 hours plus in the burn, and then about literally 40 extra outline cuts at increasingly lower speeds so that hopefully the burn would cut through better, it still didn't cut through all the way. I love this oak. This is white oak, I think, and the only problem with it, it's gorgeous, but the only problem with it is very fresh cut, and so evidently there is a ton of sap in it. I had to score some of the edges with a knife, and still had some chip off. I've been using pliers around the edges. I'm going to have to sand the edges. I'm just getting little chunks off to finish it up now. The cut actually went very well. This will all sand up fine, but boy, I just could not get it to go all the way through. So good lesson learned. I've got some of this, more of this wood that I cleaned yesterday, but I'm probably going to leave it sit for a while, and it might need to be a good long while to clean out, or to dry out. Now, the burn itself went quite well, and I am very much looking forward to sanding this up, cleaning it a little bit, sanding it up, and staining it so that I can send it off to one of my favorite YouTube channels. Jason and Danielle, appreciate you, and hope you might get a little kick out of this. All right, the little dedication that I wanted to put on the back is done. It needs to be cleaned up, and then this needs to be cleaned up. And right now, the other thing I have going is a new version of what I want to make my business card. I'm not sure it's turning out the way I intended, but it's okay. It's okay as a test run. I need to make sure that the letters are legible, so if I have to have a little oversized thing rather than exactly business card size in order to get the letters legible, that's what I need to do. But I kind of like the way it's coming out, and I'm really fascinated. I got this piece of some kind of wood. I don't know what it is, but I think it's going to be good for getting a few of these done. It's a kind of it's a mid thickness of what the others I've been doing. It's a little bigger than the 3 mil or the 6 mil, but it's less than the about half an inch I had. So anyway, I'll show you what it looks like when we get it all done. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm trying my first shot at a QR code. We'll see how that goes too. And here's a little bit of the sanding process. I've got a 180 grit here because that's pretty much what I had this wood down to, so I'm kind of starting with that, and I'll probably take it up a little slicker than that at some point, although it's already getting into the grain, you can kind of see. But I'll have to get to at some point to where I'm not bespoke hand sanding everything that I make, but these first few learning process projects are worthwhile for that. I may have to go down to like an 80 or something to finish getting this dug out. Alright, come back when it's a little cleaner. Lots of machinery running right now, so it might be a little noisy, but I just want to show briefly the change that happens when the sanding goes over where the sap has burned out around the edges. So mainly going to try to get around to show up better. Just as an example. Hopefully a fairly quick one, because there's more than enough sanding that has to be done, and way more than enough sanding videos out on the web, right? Got to be very careful with this too, because the dot of the eye in things right here, that tends to break out. So we've got to be very, very gentle with that area especially. All right, let's see how we're looking. Yeah, that's better. I'll do a little bit more. All right, I want to get a record here of what the grain looks like without the stain. I'm going to put the Cabot's Australian timber oil and honey teak on this so that it'll be good inside or out. And then I'll put spray lacquer over the top of that. but I'm not sure how the grain is going to show up with it. So I really want to get kind of before and after here. Happy with how it turned out though. Probably going to take the edge router, do a round off on this, maybe top and bottom. Definitely the back, and I might go ahead and do the top too, especially if it kind of ends up being rounded all the way around. I think that might be a kind of a good look. And we clean up the sap crud here too as well. But boy, the graining is pretty. And this is that brand new fresh cut oak that I got some scraps of, and I sure am glad. Crockers, sure do appreciate you, enjoy you, admire you, and cheer for you. Thanks for being a great source of encouragement and ideas over the past 2.5 years or so that I've been watching. What an absolutely gorgeous day. All right, this is a rig that I got recently, recommended a follower and subscriber to 731 Woodworks, which they recommended, and I bought this little rig and got a Hercules Harbor Freight handheld router, battery powered, and I need to get a much better router bit, but this is kind of a junky router bit I got from Harbor Freight too, I think. Anyway, gonna do a round over on this edge and then see how it goes, and I might turn it over and do the top side too. Let's try the back first. Yeah, I like it. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the other side too. It's going to get into the border a bit, but I think it's okay. I think it'll actually make it pretty nice. Let's try it. Yeah, I think I just found the new way I'm going to do these. I also see that white side router bit that I have in my Amazon shopping cart is going to need to be picked up with some Amazon cashback money because this is pretty rough. I'm going to sand all this down. But I do like how that rounds off, and it totally cleans up the burn. The burn's a nice look in its own way, but I think I'm going to really like this too because it looks completed once I get this little nub off. Hey, thanks for taking a look at this, and I sure hope Jason and Danielle like it. Okay, let's take a look. I wonder if this scan code's going to work. I don't know. Let's see. Continuing the Tuesday vlog information, I should have read the label more carefully on this microwave dinner beef tips. You know, black Angus steak and bacon and potatoes. I missed the part about the jalapenos. A little much for me. Good, but my mouth is still burning. Alright, I've got another batch of business cards running because I realize it might be a bit confusing for the Stark the Stark symbol, to be this way when it's this way, and then somebody might look at this and think, what? Well, what is that? I don't know what that is. So I am doing another version. This QR code worked, but I should have changed the information and slightly moved the location of the stuff here. So got another batch running, just about done. And once I've finished lunch, I'm gonna sand down the edges here and try to get this at least a first coat of stain on. And I've got, then I gotta fix the DeWalt sander I was talking about, and maybe try an update to the book quote graphic and run another one of those because I want to test the new design, see if it makes it look a little more three-dimensional on the board. Okay, still going after lunch. All right, business card attempt 2. Yeah, hang on a second. I want to use a piece to mark the spot because I can get a whole nother set on the top line. So let's try to not move everything too much. All right, that's going to work. And one of these had a screw damage down there, so that one didn't come out too great. But I think this is going, the general idea is going to work. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, the different types of grain are going to cut differently, but I think it's legible, and be interesting to see if this works. I'm not sure I can do a screen recording to try out the QR code, but I am going to try it, so please stay tuned. Does it grab it? Look at that. Now let's see what comes up. Now, what I noticed was that this turned into a link. If I, let's see, what did I do? All right, well, that's good enough to see what this is doing. So let's call it good for now. There it is. Okay, here goes. Let's see how this stains up. The grain is so nice on this. It's got a glow to it. It's got some sparkle to it. Really, really happy with it. Now, probably should have taken it out to the compressor and blown out the grooves, but I'm going to try to overfill them anyway, so I think it's all right. Okay, let's see what this does. Honey teak, Cabot's Australian oil. Recommended by Matt Outlaw at 731 Woodworks. And if he recommends it, I know that it has at least tremendous potential, if not being the absolute best option. Yeah, that's pretty. That is pretty. All right. Try to get the edges so that when I do the other side, I can just go about halfway down on the edges there and get the whole thing. Went up to a 240 grit. There are a couple of little rough spots, but if I work on them too much, I don't think it's going to turn out well. So now, this is something I'm experimenting with. Not too successfully so far, but I'm going to try it again. Because what happens is I get a little too much. It's not the highest quality thing. Oh, and maybe something was blocking that. Okay, so at least on the Star K, I can do a little bit of a flood fill and get this stained as well. If it were actually going to be outside, then this could be an area of vulnerability. So I'm going to try to get the stain all the way through. And once again, I don't need to make anybody watch me do this whole thing, but that's the idea. That will have to sit a while for it to really soak in. Yes, that is pretty. Gonna have to sit a while to soak in and dry out, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what the other side looks like. Is it possible that this could be as easy as it looks? New elliptical band, elliptical head, elliptical fitting. Oh boy, it doesn't quite look that easy. Boy, that thing is tight. I wonder if that was part of the issue. Well, let's put it on and see. I'll promptly lose this second one somewhere, or I'll put it in a very safe place where I'm sure that I'll be able to, yeah, and I'll forget it. Well, it's kind of how these things go. Boy, that looks like kind of a weak connection point. I'm not getting it. Can't really see it. It's like it's glued together. Well, no wonder they come apart. All right. Is this going to go around it? I know I ordered this thing that said it fit. Okay, that's on. Now, is that really all there is to it? Is it really going to stay? You're supposed to try to not get it twisted, and that may have been part of the issue. Well, I really want to test it out before I put the head back on, but I wonder if that helps keep it on. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it does, because it's got an inset so that this will set there. Yeah, I better not risk turning it on without putting this back on. Well, that was it. It was a very snug fit around there, and I don't know, maybe that's not supposed to turn. I guess not. Because if it is, it's not working. It does turn. I don't know. Could try to loosen it a bit. Oh, it must be a Torx or something. Yeah, it's a Torx. Well, let's just put it back together and see what that does. All right, it appears, it turns out, that these are Torx as well. I forgot, and they were so full of sawdust that I hadn't noticed. So I did try to adjust the small pivot point. I don't think it's right to have it loose, so I'm trying this, and we'll turn it on. Boy, this thing got so hot when that band was broken. Something was so different about the function that the whole unit was really heating up. Too hot for my hand at one point, and I should have figured out before that something was wrong. But I hadn't really had that situation before, so it was a new one on me. Okay, I think we're tight. Let's see if this thing's going to work now. Sure would be nice if it worked. And it does look like the elliptical is working. Yeah, it's going. Hey, maybe that fixed it. Looking forward to trying this out again. I'm wrapping up the Tuesday session of the daily vlog for the week. You can see behind me, I did not get the lumber off the truck yet. I did get a lot of other stuff done though. And so looking forward to doing this tomorrow and trying to finish one of my first orders. Well, finalize the design and then get started on finishing one of my first orders, some Christmas gifts. But remember one thing I forgot to mention. I think one of these is from Saturday and the other is from yesterday. One is from the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and one is from a garage sale in Bedford when I was down visiting Mom. Kind of glad I stopped. Take a look at this. So this had a $2 Restore price tag on it. And I thought, well, you know, this can be kind of handy. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And then I noticed that evidently original price from wherever it came from was 17 bucks. Now, I don't know if it's a deal at 2 yet because I don't know if I'm going to be good at using it, but I'm glad I got it. And here's the other thing. I am very excited about this. Now, it's Craftsman, and I got it at a garage sale, and it had $25 on it, but everything was 50% off. So she said, I'll just make it $12. So for $12, I got something. The Miles Craft version is like 90 bucks, and I have almost bought it more than once. This is a great little thing with a router to do some names and that kind of thing. I think it can go well with the laser cutter. Actually, take some pressure off the laser cutter if I do some of it with the router. So anyway, really glad to get this too. And now let's see if I can manage my time well enough that, okay, I had about a 12-hour day today, enjoyed it the whole time, and did get a lot of cutting done and got a lot of staining done, and going to try to finish up that stuff tomorrow and maybe put a couple things in the mail, but lots to do yet too. So look forward to seeing what tomorrow brings. Blessed and grateful here on Dead End Street. Tuesday evening, P.S. Oh my goodness. The gentleman named David that just had those poplar shelves out on the curb, and we got to talking and got acquainted and found out he was a longtime woodworker and I think a master carpenter. Anyway, guess he just stopped by and said, hey, I've got these cherry offcuts that I've kept and I want you to have them. Oh, great day. This stuff is, well, it's nothing I could have gotten. And, some of it may or may not be something I know how to do something really good with. But if nothing else, they can be glue ups, potentially parts of cutting boards maybe, or something. But look at all this wood. What a blessing. And I promised him I'd do my best to give this stuff a good home. And hopefully it'll also be turned into some things that'll be useful for others. Wow. Welcome to Wednesday morning. I forgot to get a video before I started. That's okay. This is the second run of the little bookshelf counter items that I'm burning. Maybe going to be part of a little craft fair coming up in November. It'd be great if that works out. So I'm starting to get a few things put together. You might see this L square that I cut out last night from some scraps. I've now made several of these that I can use to kind of help position a piece, especially if I'm going to do a bulk run, so that I can put the sheet back in the same place that the previous one was and try to get the lineup correct. I know that there must be some better ways to do this, but I haven't learned them yet. So in the meantime, I'll just do this kind of low-tech hack to keep things in place. I've used masking tape, but I like the idea that this is like a 3 mil, so it's lower than just about anything else I'd be cutting, so it's out of the way. It's not going to get run over, and it's something that is not going to get run into by the design. So anyway, there's that. Lots of things to do today. Let's see how many of them I can get done. Working on an order now. Hopefully this final design, which I think is quite improved, will be suitable for my client who wants to provide little name cards, name stands, displays for her office fellow workers. And yeah, it's been pretty fun to do this. I'll go into some detail here. Notice that this is some salvage wood. And I've got a set of calipers, and every single piece of this wood has to be measured so that I can adjust the distance, the height of the slot that is here. So the length stays the same, but the height needs to change for every piece of wood to try and make a real snug fit. Yeah, let's see how that goes. And in the meantime, what do you listen to during the day? I get the luxury, even when I had my day job, of listening to podcasts all day long. I'm listening to Brett Weinstein on the Chris Williamson Modern Wisdom. Is that what it is? Very, very interesting. The physics is all above my understanding, but very interesting in terms of its social applications as well. What do you listen to? What are some of the podcasts you like? This is one I don't look at every release, but when he has somebody that I learn from, then I like to listen to his. On the off chance that this might possibly be interesting to somebody, my best recollection is I ran all of these boards through the planer the same time with the same progression of depth. And now these numbers are backed off a hair because the kerf on the laser cut, I'm trying to make sure that I get these slots for the stand so that it'll be a snug fit. But there is quite a range on these boards. Now, it's possible not all of them were run through the same time, but thinking that I had set the planer and it had been consistent suggests that possibly I either am not doing the planer right, it can't be considered perfectly accurate, or there's something else I'm missing that is a combination of all these things and more. Any thoughts you might have on how your planer works and how consistent your thickness can be? I'd be very interested to know that. Thank you. It's Thursday morning. I totally forgot to end the day with a bit of a video recap. Yesterday was interesting. Got about a third of the way through the first big project, about 20 different little mini signs to cut and to prep for finish. But also got to run out and do some errands yesterday and make contact with some folks maybe interested in some business, and spent some time at the library, and I really enjoyed the beauty of the day after being down in the basement inside most of it. And now I get to look forward to a day of maybe putting together the new chainsaw after getting some more cutting done, and also spending some time working on those big beams, the salvage wood, trying to get some nails out, and maybe a little business meeting time with the young man that I'm trying to get this business going with. Can't wait to talk to Daniel, see how school started off for him, and also what we might get to be working on together. I hope you're having a great day whenever you see this, and appreciate the time you're taking to see what is going on in my days. Thank you. Maybe one of these days I will remember to do the before picture and not just the after. Doggone it. While stuff is burning and cutting and the sign work progresses, we're going to be able to start doing some staining here pretty soon. I realized I had some time to make an improvement on my Skeletool, which, because I wore it working out in 95 plus degree heat for quite a while, and wearing it on my hip, and sometimes getting chemicals, and sometimes just being a guy that could soak a shirt with the effort, it got a bit rusty, so it was not opening very well. And it's supposed to be a one-handed operation, and it was just so stiff. So anyway, used a little bit of a 320 sandpaper, not necessarily the most recommended thing, but after I got this apart, 320 sandpaper, and then some synthetic oil to lubricate it. Now it can all work one-handed again. Alright, that's just one of the things. Boy, does it look like I'm doing my Roger Waters impression here. Nicotine stains on my fingers. No, that's actually sap from the wood that's been burning, and that I have to sand to get off, but have to get it on my fingers in the process of sanding to get it off. Oh well, it's all part of the fun. Alright, the next step is to take some scraps, like there's one that had a big crack in it that I didn't know about until it started cutting. Take some scraps. These are some extras, and a couple different kinds of wood, and let's see what the natural Minwax wood finish does to that. And it is a penetrating stain. That's good. I want it to get down deep, and then probably going to finish it off with a spray lacquer. But let's see what this stain looks like, and then we'll probably be ready to start staining. So hopefully the staining will finish up just as the last ones are cutting, and then I can sand them and stain them, and we'll be able to do the bottom of the stand and any touch-ups that are needed or whatever tomorrow. That is the goal. I do think I'm going to run stain around the edges too, because some of these are kind of sticky from the this burned sap. But let's see how these look. I think they're probably going to look pretty nice. Yeah, here are two just freshly cut, and here are the ones that I've done the sample staining on, and I think that's going to be very good. Now, technically, I'm supposed to wipe some off after a few minutes, but I don't think there's a lot of excess on it. When I do the ones for real, I'll probably soak a little bit more, put a little heavier coat on so that I have something to wipe off, just to make sure I'm getting as much on there as possible to get into the wood. But I like that kind of warm color. I think that's going to be good. And I do have several different kinds of, well, at least 2 or 3 different kinds of wood that I've ended up using. This, I'm pretty sure, is a poplar, and it's going to have a real nice glow, I think. Now, this, I'm pretty sure, is an oak, and that should be interesting too. These would be 2. I'll try to remember to demonstrate the any difference, but also just kind of what it looks like as a result. And that is the situation. Time to go sand these while I'm waiting for the 2 stands themselves to finish the back engraving. I am burning a sale stock cut right now, something maybe that'll be used at the little craft fair that's coming up that I might get to be a part of. But that's after I've done some other things. The complete run of the little Christmas gift name signs are cut and have been stained, and so now it's time to let the stains set, and then I'm going to do a spray lacquer cover on them, and that should finish them up, although I'm probably going to do a couple of coats. So, been a productive day, and looking forward to seeing how they go over with both the customer and the folks she's wanting to share them with as a Christmas gift. Got to wait a while on that, but it'll be interesting to see. I really do like how I was able to get some very interesting grains out of some of the pieces. You see Laura there. That's turned out very interesting, and there's some nice little swirls and some other things. Several different kinds of wood. Anyway, that's very satisfying, and I went ahead and made a version for myself and for the prospective partner. We didn't get to work together today, but I had some time to run these, and I kind of like how these turned out also. So I'm going to stain these now and probably let them set overnight, and then get a spray lacquer on them as well. Well, it's been a little over 14 hours today, but it was a lot of fun, and I got a lot of stuff done, and I'm wrapping up with a little experiment that went badly at first, but might have potential. Let's take a look. You might be able to tell that I needed a little power adjustment at one point. I knew better, and I just forgot to change the setting from the 60 watt down to the 22. So what in the world is this? Let me show you. Be kind of cool if this works. This is an attempted hack, adapting something I saw. Here's the short end. I think it must be that way. Oh, I think I did it backwards then. So I'm going to tighten this up, and then let's see if it does what I hope it does. It's probably not going to do it very well, but let's check it out. No, not quite. It's going to have to be etched a little heavier than that. So maybe the 40 watt? I don't know. I'll try again. Okay, I got to get some sleep. Night, night. Welcome to Friday morning. Interesting day ahead, I believe. First, I've started a do-over on one of the name signs, which is not really... oh, I'm getting a lot of smoke. I'll come back. Well, that actually addresses the issue that I was going to mention. I think I need a major cleanup and organization day. I'd really love to be working on something that I thought was, oh, this is going to turn into money. But the laser cutter is so gunked up with sap. And I'm wondering if it's not affecting the fan along with the operation. The grates, I don't know if you can see, the grates are so crudded up. So anyway, there's that, and I've got a chainsaw to put together, and got some errands I need to run, and some business type stuff I need to actually sit down and do rather than putting off longer. But I am going to try to keep stuff cutting while that's happening, so let's see how that goes. It's been really interested to see if you have any comments on what you've seen going on during the week here, and thanks for bearing with me if you watched this far. You might put in the comments gunk, because that's what I'm dealing with quite a bit today, both in the laser cutter and maybe mentally as well. While I am working, especially on the chainsaw, which I need to put to work tomorrow, and also pick up some more salvage lumber from my friend that's redoing the house. I'm going to try to get these lacquered in the process. So we'll spray one side and let them set while I do something else, then go do another side, and try to have these done by the end of the day. There's one that I have to do over. I just wasn't satisfied with this. Just ended up kind of rough, and if I sand a bunch of this, it's going to look quite a bit different from the others. So this is going to be an extra. I'll probably throw that in. This friend of Heidi's can have an extra one, but hopefully the other one will be a little higher quality, turn out to be a little higher quality. This seems to have come together well, and so I'm going to finish lacquering these up also. Yeah, this design is, I think, kind of unique, and I'm interested to see how people respond to it. And what other designs do you think would be good? There's all kinds of shapes that could be done. This just happened to be the one that looked like it would be fairly useful for a small office setting, or maybe on a shelf at home. What are your thoughts? Blessed and grateful here on Debt End Street, where we're trying to live debt-free and not add on debt in the process. Yeah, I really like this oak, but it just came out a little too rough, and so I had a couple pieces of poplar. This is about the thickest stuff I had too. This didn't go through the planer as long, but obviously that's a much cleaner look. And I've put the light stain, the natural stain on it, on this piece already. Getting ready to do it here, and yeah, I think this is going to be, it's going to be much better. Like I said, I think I'm still going to just throw this in, and Heidi can decide if she wants to share a couple with her. I've got a couple more that are kind of miscuts that I may include just so she can decide what to do with them. But yeah, this poplar cleans up so nicely, and there is, I think that's what it is. It is, it does have a nice grain, and I've got it down to like 240 grit sanded here. I just figured out a little trick. I'm using a lot of odd size pieces, and it just occurred to me that if I had something outside of the red cut line that could be a marker for where the laser was going to cut, then I would have an easier time, sorry about that, I would have an easier time making sure that I was not going to have a failed cut because it goes off the piece or something. Framing is good, but it's really hard to see it precisely the way I'm doing it right now. If I get the camera going and all that, then probably this will all sort itself out, but this is helping me quite a bit right at this minute. So I'm gonna do another street sign. Well, there was a little glitch in the matrix. It's me, I'm the problem. But it gave me a chance to try something new. So the cut, I did not have this framed correctly, and it cut out once, but when I tried to go cut again, it was cutting in a totally different place on the grid. So I couldn't get back to the original spot without ruining it. So anyway, I will show what this is in a little bit. I actually have a personalized message I want to put on the back. I just remembered I already put stain on it, so that'll have to dry. But I also somehow messed up my second attempt. When I had these little markers, supposedly we're going to show where the burn was, and no, it's not going well. I need to stop this, and it turns out the wood is kind of a mess anyway. I need to probably just stop burning today and clean stuff. Maybe this is an indication that that's where my life is at right now. It is about to get rainy, so it's time to bring the stuff in. This is pretty cool. Got the lacquer on. I did glue that a bit, and I think it kind of gives a little bit of character. But what's kind of neat, if I'm allowed to say that, is with the lacquer spray, getting a really solid fit. I was hoping for that, but I wasn't going to expect it. Yeah, that's great. Oh, better than I could have hoped. Okay, here's another one. Yeah, I just don't think these are going to go anywhere. This one I did have to glue a bit, and I think it's going to be okay. Shatora's already done, but I mean, I did do an extra one because I just wasn't satisfied with how that one came out. Okay, here's the ones I did for Daniel and myself. Yeah, starting to feel a little bit of precipitation. Better get this stuff inside. These are not as snug a fit, and that's okay too. All right, yeah, a little reminder that the work is intended to be done as if it were exactly for the Lord. And as Matthew 25:40 says, whatever you do to the least of these brothers of mine, you do to me. And that goes for anybody, anywhere, anytime. Oh, and I've got a mess down here because when I lifted up the box, all these fell. Great. I don't really know which they go with. Let's find out. Maybe I can tell by the wood. I don't know. Eventually I can tell because they are cut to fit. So let's see. That could be it. That's not it. That's not it. That, yeah, that's probably it. Okay. And Jane. Now, what kind of wood we got here? That looks pretty close, doesn't it? Pretty similar. Yeah, I think that might be it. All right, now, Erica. What kind of wood? We got oak here. I got 2 oak choices. And, okay, 50-50 shot. I'm going to try this one first. That's a little loose. It might be a little loose. Let's just see. Well, yeah, I think that's the one. Okay. Doesn't surprise me that my 50-50 was off. All right, this looks like it. That is quite loose. Let's try this. It's a little better. And it's nice and clean on the sides. All right, so that means Cindy is the other oak, I think. Yeah, not as snap fit, but it's still pretty good. That leaves us with Becky, and I think Becky, I love this little swirl pattern that I got out of some of this. Let's see. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, not super snug, but it's there. Alright, here's the rest. Here's Angie. And Joyce. Yep. And whoa, Kelly. With a little bit of sanding, that burn actually kind of looks pretty cool, doesn't it? I don't know if I'm showing it very well. It's kind of a neat look. 3 more. Here's Christy, and I think this is poplar, and I'm really fascinated with how it turns out. It's pretty soft, and so not quite as tight a fit, but it's possible that that could be glued too. Okay, here's Crystal, another poplar piece. I believe it's poplar. Yeah. And last, certainly not least, Laura, another oak piece, and that does have a bit of character on the edge there too. Any of these that Heidi doesn't care for, I'll try to redo, but I think they're all personalized well with some distinctive qualities, but with a consistency that is a good complement to that. All right, yeah, it's starting to get a little drippy here, a little bit of mist. So let's get these boxed up and ready for delivery. Wow, it's been so much fun. Okay, here we go. This is a Neotech 28-inch chainsaw. I am the last person on earth who should try to do a here's how you build it video. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to try to build it, and the follow-up will be that I will be honest about how many times I had to restart it, take it apart again, and rebuild it after not quite getting it right. But I need to use this tomorrow. I hope I can get it together. Welcome to Saturday. Did not get video to start the day. Already kind of rearranged some things in the garage because Cousin Carol wants to do some work out there, and I have spent the last evening kind of trying to prep the new chainsaw and finding out that there are things that I don't know or understand about it yet. And so, yeah, I'm on my way to go try to get some more of this tree that's been cut down, this maple tree. And either I'm going to do some cutting, or I'm going to just get some of the sections and load them up and bring them back so that I can actually get the chainsaw going well and do some of it back at Carol's. So either way should be good. And on the way back from that, I pick up some more of this old wood from ceiling joists, 115-year-old, a mix of pine and oak, it looks like, maybe. And then probably I need to spend some time rearranging that so that the back of Carol's driveway doesn't look like a derelict lumber yard. Beautiful day. Blessed and grateful. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I saw a really smart idea. Okay, let's see if I can get it in the shot here. I'm in the sun. Here we go. This is a bubble level for like a motorhome trailer or whatever. And I saw a video where somebody had screwed this into the top of their chainsaw so that they could have a two-way level to know that they were actually cutting in an exact straight line. And a great idea. Would never have thought of it myself. And so I got some, instead of, I didn't want to put screw holes or whatever in the gear, so, but I got these Velcro, and I'm going to stick this on and, you know, see if it does me any good here. I can screw through that if it comes to it and it doesn't want to stay on or whatever. But yeah, getting ready to start, and let's see if I can get some more wood. There are the remains of the tree, and so I'm going to see what I can get to take with me, either already cut or take home and cut. Full disclosure here, I really felt probably like I was being wasteful and extravagant when I went ahead and bought this chainsaw that I've been looking at for over 2 years, but you know, did it when I didn't have a day job anymore. But this thing is a beautiful, beautiful tool. Now, it's very likely I have to tune the carburetor a bit more. I'm going to have to tighten up the chain. I think I have the cover on too tight. Look at that. I've lost one of the nuts. I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, one of the nuts is on. And I don't think it's a ferrous metal. I don't think even a magnet would find it. Well, maybe I'll see it. Yeah, those were too loose, and then now they were not loose enough, and now they're too loose. But my goodness, this thing is eating this wood. And I'm going to get, hopefully, I'm going to try some more, but then I'm also going to try to get some smaller stuff too for some bench seats. Yeah, money well spent, even if I have to buy another cover screw or cover nut. Let's do some more. This is just about my 8th or 9th cut. Honestly, I don't think I could hope to get any closer to dead flat than that. Wow. I got way off angle when I was trying to do this the other day with the smaller saw, and so now I'm going to try to flatten this side so that I can then finish out this cut down this groove that I think I've got fairly straight. I didn't bring a tripod, I should have, but I'm just cutting, so let's see how it turns out. Yeah, that's still way off, but much better than it was, and be an interesting experiment in learning how to use a flattening sled if I get that set up. Let's try to get it a shot in good sunlight. Yeah, it's not flat. I in no way endorse nor recommend this, but a little field engineering was necessary. I need about another minute of run time. So I had to get something I could pour the gas from the Poland in so that I could pour it into the Neotech. Crazy. Well, it's close enough. I was able to break it off by hand. But I don't think there's much hope for this thing. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to cut this off down to the middle. Could be a nice tabletop, maybe. I don't know. This is an old maple tree. It may have been rotten. There may be just too much soft, punky stuff in it. But it sure is good training, good experience. So a little bit more, and then I'm going to start loading up. Plans changed as I saw, well, bad light, as I saw that I was just basically cutting down the angle to it. And then I remembered I saw a video where they did a cross grain cut, and my goodness, look at what that's like what I've seen on videos. Good grief, talk about great fire starter. This half doesn't look too bad, and I'm going to try to take it. Now, I did notice some termites in this stuff, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to try to debark it right away. I may even try to do it here just to make sure I'm getting any of the little bugs out before, as many of them as I can before I head home. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of stuff that may be a little too soft to work, but Jesper Makes has been talking to me about why haven't I tried epoxy yet, and I don't know, maybe I could get my courage up for this. Might be worth a try. These are beautiful pieces. And I think that's about all I'm going to try to do. And thank you, Lord, for the blessing of a new chainsaw that really has done better than what a lot of stuff I saw in the pro videos walking through the first use of these things. I feel really, really blessed and grateful, and I really have a lot of crud to clean out of this thing. And I'm going to stop by a steel dealer and get a couple of spare nuts and maybe a cap nut that I can, a nylon nut or something I can put on top of those so they don't come off. That would be nice. Wow. Well, there's more to do today, but for now it's time to start loading up. If you got any thoughts or comments, or what in the world were you thinking, input on this, I'd love to hear it. Thanks very much. I think this is all going to travel okay. I've strapped it down. I think I'm going to actually go straight to Rural King in Shelbyville, check on some of these parts, and I may get some True Fuel and come back for one more biscuit that I almost got, and it could be a great table if I can get it cut apart. Now, where I would put it to bring it home, that's another question, but let's see what I can figure out. There is probably a better way to do this, but these things really need to be cleaned, and I need to clean the housing for the laser as well. But I'm going to start here and make sure that this works, and then I'll go on to the bigger stuff. But that's a nice way to kind of wrap up the week and let these soak for a little bit and see what happens. Yeah, that is evidence that this was actually long overdue already. Wow. Gonna let it set overnight. More and more interesting things are happening. Just feel so encouraged to be giving this starting a business thing a try, including the fact that I got a call from somebody I've never met, never spoken to, rarely even spoken of. I don't know that I've ever brought this guy up. It's another owner of a different lawn fertilizing company who called me and said he wanted to maybe talk about a job, and it's like, wow, okay, I don't know, but okay, yeah, let's talk. And what an incredible feeling to not have to be desperate for a job. I mean, That is a huge blessing. And I know not everyone gets to experience that, and I am not taking it for granted. Now, here's the wild thing. I had, great success with at least in my opinion, with the chainsaw today. And I stopped at Habitat for Humanity Restore on the way home, and I picked up a couple cheap things. And but I'm starting to pull out of the parking lot, and some fella comes out of the store. First, I thought, oh, it's an employee wanting to ask me something, and then it's like, oh, no, he doesn't have any, spirit gear on for the store. It's just a guy from Franklin, a town a little bit south of here, and he says, "Hey, I noticed you got those the wood up on your roof rack, and I got a tree that maybe you might want to cut up." Well, yeah, I'd be very interested in knowing what you have in mind. Well, it's a cedar tree. Oh, yes. And you have a business card? I said, oh, no, I don't. And then I realized when I got home, well, I just cut a bunch of wooden business cards. That would have been awesome to be able to hand off my first business card. Anyway, we traded phone numbers. He's not only got that tree, he thinks he has another tree. He had a guy that did sawmill and cutting up wood for him, and that guy doesn't do it anymore. So I may have much more wood that I get to reclaim. Well, anyway, the point that I think this whole week makes is, well, at least one point. What if this thing does work? What if things just keep happening, that I get to keep doing this? And if it doesn't, what if somebody just calls me out of the blue and says, well, hey, how about this job? I feel guided and protected all the way around. And as the saying goes, blessed and grateful. I hope you've had a great week. It's been amazing here, and I look forward to seeing what the next one is. I hope you do too. Thanks.